Welcome back to the Lars Larson Show. Anytime I've got a complicated question, we've got to go to some of the experts. So, an Obama-appointed judge just killed Donald Trump's $100,000 H-1B visa fee and handed a big win to big technology. Are the courts protecting foreign workers over American workers? I thought I'd put that proposition to Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, who is an immigration attorney and the owner and CEO of Lincoln-Goldfinch Law. Ms. Goldfinch, or Lincoln-Goldfinch, welcome to the program.
Hi, Lars. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I will tell you, I was kind of enthused with the idea of the $100,000 fee because I thought, if a company says we have to have this special set of skills in this worker and we need to bring this worker in, fine, then you'll be willing to pay that kind of fee to get that person. Otherwise, if you're just saying I can get somebody who's a hardworking young man or woman from China or India or some other foreign country, instead of having to hire an American man or woman, I don't want you to be able to use the H-1B. And I thought it was a good mechanism for getting there. Was I wrong?
Well, I hear that argument, and certainly, the Amazons and the Googles of the world can pay the fee. But the truth is, the H-1B, it's a specialty occupation professional fee or visa. And so a lot of colleges, universities, some nonprofits connected to colleges, a lot of, medical hospitals, et cetera, use this visa to hire really skilled workers in professions, in sectors in which we need these workers. And most of these employers aren't able to pay the fee. So we've seen the applications this year just completely drop. And it really is impactful on pretty critical sectors of our economy. It's not a good thing for anyone, including the American worker.
Okay, but when those dropped off, did those institutions then just hire nobody, or did they go out and hire an equivalent person from the American workforce, young men or women who have the right kind of degree?
Well, I haven't seen studies on what these institutions have done this year, but historically, the studies have shown that ending an H-1B type visa doesn't lead to an increase in hiring American workers. It actually can lead to offshore, overseas hiring, going to India, going to China, opening up centers over there and hiring more people. So I don't think that it boosts the situation for the American workforce historically.
Well, for those kinds of things that you can offshore, but when you just gave me as an example, hospitals, how many hospitals say we really want to hire somebody under an H-1B to physically work in our hospital, then, but if we can't hire that person as a foreign worker to work under an H-1B, then we'll offshore the position through some mechanism instead of hiring an American young man or woman to fulfill that job? Does that one make sense to you?
Well, no, but healthcare is one of those areas where staffing is really difficult, particularly in rural areas. And so having foreign workers come in and be able to do nursing, elderly care, specialized surgery, all of these things, this is a difficulty in that sector to hire American workers. And I certainly don't know, this isn't something that I study, but I certainly haven't heard that there are, American nurses who struggle to find work. My understanding, and all the nurses I've ever known, is like, I've got job security out the wazoo. I can get a job anywhere I want as a nurse, so I don't know that that's an area where we actually even need to consider protecting the American worker, but actually think about how can we expand healthcare for people who live in this country.
I'm talking to Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, who's an immigration attorney and owner and CEO of Lincoln-Goldfinch Law. But then you hear the stories about, say, Disney a couple of years ago, hiring a bunch of foreign workers and then bringing them in, and these are IT workers doing coding and programming computers, and sitting them down with their American workers saying, your job is to train these foreign workers to do your job, and then we're going to fire you, and we're going to put them in your place. That's the kind of thing I want to avoid if we can. Isn't that a legitimate thing we should try to avoid?
Sure. And I don't know the Disney story. I don't know that particular incident, but I can say, there are protections in the H-1B program. It's not as if these workers can be hired, these foreign workers can be brought in and, paid lower wages. I mean, there are protections in the H-1B program that ensure that the prevailing wage is paid to workers. So it's not in a company's interest to pay an H-1B visa fee, hire foreign workers, pay them the same that they would hire an American worker if they can find the American worker to do the job. So the system is not built in to encourage that type of behavior like what you're saying Disney did.
Well, except, and I'll tell you what, I'll cite it. It was more than a few years ago. It was 11 years ago. Walt Disney hired 250 foreign workers under an H-1B visa and replaced 250 American IT workers with the new foreign workers. And I can tell you why they might be willing to pay the same amount of money. And that is, if you went, Kate, I know you're in the business, but if you went to, say, a construction company and you said, if you hire an average American worker at a wage and you hire an average illegal alien worker at a wage, which one is going to show up at 6 o'clock sharp, work hard all day, or work till the job is done and work harder? Which one is more likely to work harder?
Well, I mean, I don't know that that's clear. First of all, we're not talking about illegal workers. We're talking about people who come in on visas and their profession. By definition, they have to have college degrees or master's degrees. And so, I mean, you're talking about professional people who are engineers and architects and doctors. And so I don't know that it's accurate that there's this thinking out there that, oh, the foreign workers are going to be, better or work harder. Yeah, we're talking about professional people here.
If you don't work hard and you lose your H-1B, you have to go back home, don't you?
Yes, but you can, I live in Texas. It's a right to work state. You also lose your job if you don't do your job here in Texas. I don't know where.
That's what, but all I'm saying is if somebody says, hey, we hired Kate, we were hoping she's from India, we thought she'd do a good job, she didn't. So, in this case, we're going to let her go, and then she loses her H-1B, and back to India goes Kate. Kate, that's the concern I've got, is protecting American jobs, and I very much appreciate you coming on. That's Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, an immigration attorney and owner and CEO of Lincoln-Goldfinch Law.